We are seeing some major volatility in the overall crypto market, especially for Bitcoin, that came all the way back down to this range low and also bounced off perfectly from this trend line. But we're going to find out what we could expect, because yes, I told you that this range is going to be extremely important for Bitcoin, because we came all the way up to the range high, then we came all the way back down and also back up, and we were forming this symmetrical triangle, and we came all the way back down to this major support, and then we saw this perfect bounce and this breakout from the symmetrical triangle, which turned out to be a fake out. Yes, we formed a higher high, but we also saw that we got this major push towards the downside and came all the way back down to the 50 moving average. But before we're going to look at the charts, we're going to find out what we could expect from the ETF launch. Are we going to get this approval or even the denial? But fact is, we are going to see a lot of fake news at the moment, and that's why we saw this massive dump towards the downside. So if you want to find out more, watch the video until the end, smash up the like button and subscribe. And now let's directly start with today's content. And welcome back, guys. We're seeing this major volatility, but this major dump towards the downside just came because of fake news, and we're going to go over to this news because Eric wrote, looks like the Matrix report took both the blue pill and the red pill, because yes, we can see that Bitcoin Archive wrote this is Matrix report on the same day. And yes, this caused the markets to dump, because first they wrote this Bitcoin spot ETF approval imminent, BTC to jump to $50,000 and then they came out with the next news. And yes, a lot of media outlets took this post and reposted it, why the SEC will reject the Bitcoin spot ETF again. And that's why we saw this major reaction in the markets, causing Bitcoin to dump all the way back down to the 50 moving average. And yes, this was all just fake news, causing Bitcoin to dump all the way back down. But let's go over to the next news, because yes, we saw the overall crypto market dump towards the downside, and this caused some major liquidation, the largest total liquidation event since the uptrend from 25,000 began in August. Largest altcoin liquidation event in 2 years, brought to you by Matrix Report Intern. So yes, this major fake news caused the overall markets to dump, and yes, to be honest, I really hope that this ETF story is going to end soon, that we're going to see some major volatility and that we can get back to business as normal, because yes, we can see that the overall market and this whole narrative about the ETF is really causing a lot of volatility in the markets. But what are the latest news regarding the ETF? Breaking: Bitcoin ETF approval. According to multiple sources, multiple Bitcoin spot ETF applications might be approved by the SEC as early as tomorrow. So this could actually happen today. But guys, remember, the time window is until the 10th of January where we could see this approval or even the delay. But I hope that we're going to see this approval and that this major volatility really has an end, that we're either going to see a massive breakout towards the upside or even a break towards the downside. Because yes, guys, do you really think that BlackRock is going to buy all of their Bitcoin exactly after the approval and that we're going to see this major adoption for Bitcoin? No, these major institutions have already loaded up the boat, and yes, I'm going to show you a video that was quite interesting.
What they don't understand is that these big ETFs like BlackRock, they're not going to go out and buy billions of dollars of Bitcoin because they already have. These big ETF companies cannot be buying and selling in the market on a real-time basis, moving market prices. So instead, they use a buffer account. BlackRock have already been buying to fill these accounts. These other accounts will be used to fulfill the buying and selling on a daily basis, while these other accounts will be managing it on market cycles so they can get the best deal and that they're not moving the market. So a lot of people think they're going to instantly start buying and it's going to push the price sky high, but that's not what's going to happen because they've already bought it. And so when that doesn't happen, the price will start coming down because of all these people buying just on this pump alone. And when they see it start going down, it'll trigger some more selling and people are going to freak out and they'll start going down.
And BlackRock is going to buy even more. So guys, dollar cost average into Bitcoin and just ignore all this major FUD and this major ETF volatility, and let's go over to the charts to find out what we could expect for Bitcoin. Because yes, on the daily chart, we can see that Bitcoin is once again over the 13 EMA, and that is extremely important for Bitcoin, that we're going to stay above the 13 EMA. But what really concerns me is this major wick towards the downside. Yes, this major wick was just caused from this fake news, from the ETF approval. So it's obvious this was just a major fake news and this fake move towards the downside. But guys, the price has traded in these regions, so we could expect, yes, Bitcoin doesn't like these V-shaped recoveries, like we also saw here, that the price movement bounced up straight away, and that we saw that the price movement came all the way back down, formed the lower high, and that we came to retest this major zone where we had this wick towards the downside. So we could expect at least that Bitcoin is going to come all the way back down. But keep in mind, this could also be a fast move from another news that is going to hit the market, that will going to come all the way back down into these regions and that we're going to bounce off straight back up. But guys, we could expect some major volatility, so that's why I wouldn't trade in this area after we're going to see this approval from the ETF exactly on the 10th, or we're even going to see the delay. So yes guys, this is going to be a no trade zone on leverage, because we all saw what happened. We saw some major liquidations in the overall crypto market. We just have coins like Say, Beam, Arbitrum and Celestia that saw a pump towards the upside and it quickly bounced back up. But guys, I'm going to do a dedicated video about Say, so make sure to smash up the like button and be subscribed so that you don't miss this upcoming video, which I'm going to post later today. But let's go back on the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, because yes, on the 4-hour chart we can clearly see we have this major wick towards the downside that came all the way to this range low. But guys, these liquidity areas normally tend to get filled, so we could expect that yes, Bitcoin had this high and now we found this lower high. We came all the way back up to the 78.6. If we're going to draw the fibs from the top all the way to the bottom, then we can see we touched the 78.6 perfectly. So this gives us the indication, yes, at the moment Bitcoin is trading at the 61.8, so we could expect, if we're going to lose this level, that the 38.2 or even the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level is going to be our ultimate price target. But guys, keep in mind that this could only be a news driven move and we could see this fast move towards the downside and straight back up. But ultimately guys, if we're going to get this positive news from the ETF, then we could expect this pump towards the upside. Because yes, clearly if we're going to break this trend towards the upside, we could expect that we're at least going to come straight back up to the 78.6 and the 88.6. But ultimately, if we're going to break the previous highs, we could expect that Bitcoin comes all the way up to the 48 to even $50,000 level before we're going to get this next major retracement or even a pullback. But guys, ultimately, if we're going to get this bearish case and that we're going to break this bottom range all the way here at $40,800, guys, let's go on the weekly chart to find out which levels we could expect. Because yes, ultimately, if we're going to lose this level, the first price target is going to be the $38,000, where we can see the 13 EMA on the weekly chart, and the next price target ultimately is going to be my worst case scenario, round about the $31,000, where we also have the 50 moving average, the blue line, and also the 100 moving average, and also this confluence with this major trend line and this major resistance point. So this would ultimately be our bearish price target for Bitcoin. But now the question is, should you dollar cost average into Bitcoin and buy Bitcoin exactly here? Guys, I would really dollar cost average, because we could also see that the price movement of Bitcoin comes all the way up to the $50,000 or even to the $60,000 level, and we are then going to see a retracement and consolidate before the halvening. But guys, we could also expect that yes, we're going to come to these levels, but if you bought exactly here and you're dollar cost averaging also in these areas, guys, you're dragging your entry price down, because yes, you really don't know if we're going to get this major retracement before the ETF approval or afterwards. So this really depends. So it could be a smart move to dollar cost average exactly here, because yes guys, ultimately we could expect a major run towards the upside. Because if we go over to this next chart, guys, we can see that we are less than 100 days away from the next major halvening. And what happened at the previous halvening? Yes, we saw that the price of Bitcoin really saw this massive pump towards the upside in the halvening before. In the second halvening, we saw that Bitcoin reached the halvening exactly here, and then we saw this major parabolic run towards the upside. And at the first halvening, we saw this parabolic run towards the upside. So it's clear what is going to happen, guys. We're going to get this parabolic run towards the upside, because history doesn't repeat but it rhymes. So we could expect this major move for Bitcoin. And if you want to buy Bitcoin on the spot market, go down in the video description below and sign up to Bybit, where you can buy Bitcoin on the spot market or trade it with a leverage. And if you always want to stay up to date, make sure to be in my free Telegram group. Links are in the video description below. So yes, these are my price targets for Bitcoin in the immediate short term. I could expect that yes, we're going to retest at least this level of the $42,000 before we're going to see any bullish move higher or even the decision from the ETF. So yes guys, expect some ETF volatility, but overall guys, dollar cost average into Bitcoin and into the major altcoins. And keep in mind, I'm going to do a dedicated video about Say. So don't miss this video, smash up the like button and subscribe, and make sure to be for crypto, and we see each other in the next video.